Who told Alyssa she was a great person? Who told her? Because the way this woman believes it with her whole heart, oh my gosh, she will die on this hill. She truly believes she's an amazing person. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Taste of Reality. My name is Queenie, for those who don't know me, and we are reviewing Married at First Sight. Ooh, I almost said Australia. Nope. Married at First Sight. Oh, wow, the brain fart. Yep, it's late. Season 14, episode 4. Before we get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Let's see if I can make it through this video. All right, so we're gonna start with Alyssa and Chris. And like I said in the opening, who told this woman she is a great person? She's a nice person. She's under the impression that being married to Chris is the worst thing that could ever happen to her.
I definitely sit here and wonder why this happened to me and how this happened to me and like why me.
Personally, I can't think of anything worse than having to spend some time remotely with Alyssa, but that's neither here nor there. Chris is, still trying to be the better man in this situation, and he plans a paddleboarding date with her. And in her mind, she thinks she's being the bigger person by accepting the excursion. And listen, y'all, don't be texting me right now. By accepting the excursion and being a good sport about it, okay? When they take a break, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to laugh at the fact that she went to see a psychic, okay? I'm laughing at the fact that if you believe in psychic readings, psychic prophetic tellings, why sign up for something where other people decide who your soulmate is? So she claims she went to see a psychic before getting married, and that her soulmate would have beautiful eyes and would have a tattoo of an eagle. Yet you applied for a TV show where other people pick your soulmate. I thought when a psychic tells you your future, it's just supposed to happen to you. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that stuff, and I'm not judging anybody who does, but I feel like she kind of broke the rules, that this wasn't a part of the code of conduct when you meet a psychic, but that's neither here nor there as well. The next day, Chris is still trying to be a trooper, and he plans some scuba diving, snorkeling, snorka dive, child something. He plans something. And immediately, Alyssa was like, no, I'm going to watch you from the shore. Fine, he concedes. There's really no point fighting with Alyssa at this point. Then when he's getting suited up with the equipment, she sees his body and she's like, I don't want to be mean, but physically, he's not my type. And I feel like I can say that. Alyssa, you can say that. You do have the freedom to say that. Is it rude as hell? Yes. But go ahead, say it. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. So while he's snorkeling, snorka diving, scuba sailing, something. He just wants something. She actually leaves the shore and she goes to eat or whatever, and there's production that's there with her, and she's throwing yet another fit because she got off the phone with her mother, and her mother was basically saying, get it together. You were going to come off horrible on television. And her argument was, I'm being the nicest I could possibly be. I would hate to see what nasty behavior from Alyssa looks like. This is nice. This is nice. And this is how I know, like I said before, this is how I know the mom knew her daughter was a piece of work. The mom basically had to cuss her out and say, yo, don't be out there embarrassing me. Do better. And she's like, no, I'm doing my best. This is my best. This is Alyssa's best, you guys. I can see why you apply for the show, girl. Mercy. Alyssa's niceness that she claims to have does not translate. And again, I pose the question to you guys, who told her she was nice? Was it a psychic? Maybe it was a psychic. Maybe it was a psychic, and that's why she believes it so much. Yeah, y'all know I'm about ready for her to go. I've been done with her. We're tired of seeing her. It looks like she's about to self-eliminate from this process. In the next episode, I'll be glad to see it. You could take your behind back on that plane, and we don't want to see you ever again. Moving on to Lindsey and Mark. By the way, I'm going from like worst to the best that we could do for this season. So moving on to Lindsey and Mark, she likens their relationship to carrots and peas. If that is not the whitest thing I've ever heard in my life. Unless there's some other BIPOC people who just be eating carrots and peas like that. I was like, ooh, this is a very Caucasian union. Okay. So it's safe to say that their first night of the honeymoon, they consummated the relationship because she's laughing like a maniac.
Have you consummated the marriage yet?
In the morning after conversation, Mark is alluding to the fact that Lindsey might have a drinking problem. I hesitate to say problem just because I don't like projecting things onto people that potentially aren't the real, that isn't the real situation of what's going on, So I don't want to say she has an alcohol problem, but he's alluding to the fact that alcohol might be something that she needs to take sparingly, consume sparingly. But he's like, that's the reason why you were having an altercation with damn near everybody on the plane. And she's like, no, it was exhaustion. I was tired. Well, baby girl, then I'm going to need you to wake up, okay? Wake up. They are later sharing their past experiences, and Mark is talking about how he realized a trend in his dating in that the women considered him to be a breath of fresh air. A few of his exes that he spoke about, one of them had a toxic ex in that he denied her even though she was with child with him, and I guess he was dating the girl while she was with child with another man. That's what it sounded like. I'm not quite sure. And then he had another situation where somebody had an alcohol dependency and the relationship started to deteriorate because of her alcoholism, right? Which kind of makes sense why he's making it a point to Lindsey to be careful about her consumption. If he's already seen that, listen, too many libations flowing in a relationship is not a good recipe when it comes to me and my partner, obviously he would not want to repeat that in a marriage since the man done applied 2 times. He really wants this to work, okay? He is used to taking care of people. And I think I'm gonna need y'all to stop texting me for real. I think he has the want to fix people, to fix situations. And you can kind of tell with the way he apologized on behalf of Lindsey. I think he's just that person who wants things to be copacetic, who, and he's a caretaker. Like, he just has a really soft heart. Lindsey called it him being a people pleaser. I don't know if I can quite say he's a people pleaser. I haven't seen enough to say that about him, but I could see why she would use those words. But yeah, Mark, it's not your job to fix everybody. You are not Bob the Builder. You're Mark the Shark. So after a few days, Lindsey feels like she's in love. While Mark is like, listen, this is some choppy waters for your shark over here.
A friend said, you gotta reel her in. I mean, I'll reel you in once or twice, but at some point, you gotta stop doing that.
Mark, do you think her energy would tire you out?
It's a lot for me.
As the honeymoon is going on, he's realizing that Lindsey's full-on behavior might be a little bit too much for him. He thinks that there's other obstacles that are getting in the way of them building a strong bond. And I agree. If she's, going off of the mouth with other people, we're working on fixing relationships outside of our relationship instead of building a stronger bond between us, I would be very frustrated if I was him. I mean, I'd be very overwhelmed if I was just with Lindsey in general. Very surprised that Mark comes off as the even-keeled person, because initially I thought their energy was the same, but she wasn't lying when she says she's full on. She makes Mark seem tame, which is crazy. Near the end of the episode, he says he needs her to just dial it back a bit, and she gets very upset because she's like, if you want me to dial it back, I'm going to 0. I'm starting with, hi, my name is Lindsey, what's your name? I'm like, girl, it doesn't have to be like that. But to her credit, she said, if you're going to request that from me, I need you to dial it back as well. I don't need you to be getting way too comfortable with me, going to the bathroom with the door open, belching in front of my face, doing all these things that a couple who's very comfortable with each other does. You need to romance me a little bit. Leave some stuff to mystery. Because if you're all in, I'm all in. I think she tried to throw it back at him. I do hear what he was saying. She did make some points though. She did make a couple points. It's looking like it's gonna be a long road. Oh, it's gonna be a long road for Mark. Oh my gosh, justice for Mark, man. Justice for Mark. Justice for Mark. That's all I'm gonna say. Moving on to Mike and Jasmina. Jasmina is still stuck on the sisters' words that they shared at the morning after brunch after their wedding, basically saying that he's a pessimist. They're really trying to make it seem like he's a realist, but no. If you are waiting for the other shoe to drop, to me that's pessimism. That's not realism, because in real life, positive things do happen.
Yes, I am overthinking. Yes, maybe I am being a little negative, but it's just because I don't want to ruin this.
But you're going to ruin it if you keep overthinking.
So he's a pessimist. If you ask me, I want someone to explain to me what they're arguing about. So their issue is that he thinks conflict is inevitable between strangers. She thinks conflict doesn't have to happen as long as you adhere to people's boundaries, right? You're both correct. Why are we fighting? You're both correct. Is it a problem to expect conflict? Maybe. But to be realistic and think conflict could happen here. There are different personalities and stuff. I feel like that's real. But also, Jasmina was saying, just when you see somebody getting a little heated about something, stop pressing. Take your finger off the button and conflict will subside. Also true. I don't know why they're fighting, y'all. I don't know why they're fighting. So Mike says that in his last relationship, he wasn't able to be fully present because he was overthinking the situation a lot, right? And he shares that his pessimism is a coping mechanism for him to help him manage expectations. So some history on his personal life: he lost his brother young. Shortly after, I think he lost his father, and then he lost his mother. And then I think some grandparents are in the story as well. He has experienced a lot of loss. So to expect loss, to expect conflict is a way for him not to have to deal with those immense feelings all the time. He's like, oh, well, I knew something bad was going to happen, right? And as much as I feel like that is problematic, I understand where he's coming from. Seek therapy. Because you can't think something bad is always going to happen to you. That is not a way to live. It is not a way to live. But I do have to criticize Jasmina. She always wants to bring up the fact that he is a realist and all this stuff, and he's an overthinker. You have a problem with fixation. She heard one negative thing about Mike and has not been able to let it go this entire honeymoon. And in fact, has thrown it back in his face. Well, your sisters said, okay, experience the man for who he is. And if you're getting that, fine. But don't keep bringing it up because the sisters said so. Give him real examples of where he was exhibiting this behavior so that maybe he can work on it. I feel like, girl, you are not completely, out of the woods with this one. The next morning, so before I get to the next morning, they went on the boat trip and all that stuff. I'll cover the boat trip in some other people's segment, right? But they were talking about consummating the marriage, and he had said they didn't consummate yet. And she had just said, oh, I wait to have feelings for somebody. Didn't cut him off.
We haven't yet. It's only been, 3 days since we got married?
I'm just someone that wants to have an emotional connection with somebody first.
She didn't cut him off, right? Next morning, she's recounting a situation between them. They didn't film it, but she was saying he was being very verbally aggressive and saying that I cut him off and that I need to apologize, right? I think these two are just two people who are constantly looking for an out, which is unfortunate because on paper, they were my not runner up, that's second. Actually, yeah, runner up, because Noy and Steve are my favorite. They were up there in success for me, and I just think they like to keep a tally of wrongs, and that's never gonna work in a marriage, especially in a marriage around these kind of parameters. So I just feel like that's unfortunate. Later on in that same night, they had dinner, and Jasmina decides to confront him about the situation. And her apology was basically, I'm sorry you felt that way. And he was saying, that's not an apology. That's not how you apologize. Her issue was, you don't get to dictate how I apologize. The way I apologize is the way I apologize. Now, Jasmina, you know that wasn't an apology, girl. you know that was not an apology. Granted, I probably would have said the same thing, but that wasn't an apology. It wasn't. And she's right in saying you don't get to dictate how I apologize, because I don't feel like I was in the wrong. So I said what I said, and I'm moving on. So then he's like, fine, I agree. I accept your apology. It is what it is. And she's like, but do you really accept my apology? What do you want? What do you want? Do you want him to accept your apology, or do you want him to keep being combative with you? Like, what do you want? The man said, okay, cool, moving forward. And you're like, but are we really? Are you really okay with it? Jasmina, girl. I feel like Jasmina has also been told, just like Alyssa, that she can do no wrong. And although her mishaps aren't as big as Alyssa's, she's definitely showing like some characteristics of I'm right and you gotta follow suit. I don't know. Y'all let me know if you feel that way. Michael says he acknowledges that him coming across as condescending has been an issue in the past. Him being verbally aggressive sometimes has been an issue in the past, and he's gonna work on it when he gets home. Yeah, it's gonna be a long road for them too. Whew, mercy. Moving on. There's so many people and it's so hot and I'm tired. It's nighttime, I gotta go to bed. Moving on to Ola and Katina. Although she is starting to have strong feelings, she doesn't want to fully throw caution to the wind because you never know what can happen. And knowing Ola, girl, I would agree. Be careful. Hold on to your wits, sis. I'm surprised that she trained with him, though, because in my book, I don't know about y'all, in my book, don't train with a partner. Do not train with a partner. They will push you in ways that makes you want to cuss him out, even though you know you love him. You're going to want to call him everything but a son of God.
Hold your hands out.
Yes.
Stop giving up. There's no more of that. For real.
Okay.
Smile. Smile. Enjoy it. Think about everything that bothers you.
I
Now,
don't like those.
And she must be really tired of him because she was looking like a bad lady. You gonna hurt your back. She got these big bags under her eye. Child, Ola will really suck the energy out of you. Ooh. He later explains that the reason why he took her to the gym was because he wanted to challenge her and he wanted to see if she would speak up against certain things that he does to her that she doesn't agree with. I get the thought process. I do. I don't like when people challenge people in this way. in the way of like, oh, I'm gonna put you to the test, you know? I like a challenge in terms of, let me challenge your beliefs, let me challenge your values, let me challenge your opinions, right? So you can have a riveting discussion, you could see the pros and cons of both sides, basically a debate. But the challenge in terms of like a test, I don't know, I don't like it. Y'all let me know if I'm tripping, but I don't like it. Who she has no problem speaking up against is Lindsey. So while all the couples are on this, was it a yacht? We're going to call it a yacht for now. I'm not quite sure. They were on a boat, okay? She is listening to Lindsey talk about how she felt after the plane situation. And Katina was like, see, yeah, one thing you're not going to do is play the victim.
You poke people. You're like, I'm not touching you. You're like 5 years old. And then when you get a reaction, you play victim so much. You're a manipulative person.
That's really rude.
I don't care if it's rude or not. I'm telling you because you're rude.
Although I do agree 1000%, especially after watching the after show, that Lindsey did not have proper decorum on the plane, off the plane, after the plane, all of it. Katina escalated this situation for no reason. I feel like she was upset that she didn't fully get to tell Lindsey off and now took this opportunity to, you know, get her feelings off her chest. And it's like, okay, she wasn't talking about you. She didn't say anything defamatory. Like, she was just expressing where she's at, and you chose to make it about you. I felt like, Katina, that was wrong. I felt like it was wrong. I do. On the boat, later the couples are doing, not truth or dare. What is it called? Never Have I Ever. And basically, if you haven't done something, you put your finger down. Normally, you're supposed to drink, but... So she's really learning the depth of the shenanigans that Isaac was up to. And realistically, to Ola, why wouldn't you have a fake F-boy name? Because your name really is Isaac. You couldn't go by... So something that the little Zim boys that I grew up with used to do is when they were out acting a fool, they would call themselves Chris. They would just say, yeah, my name is Chris, knowing damn well we were like, oh, she about to get played. She about to get played. Why would you call yourself by your real name? Anyways, he had said things like, oh, I've cheated before, which at least she knew about that. But then he had said, oh, yeah, I've definitely done a threesome. I've slept with members of the same family. So he had slept with a daughter and a mother, not at the same time, but still. And if he was in marriage and Katina was like, let's bring in a third, he'd be like, oh, yeah. Why am I going to say no to a woman that you offer up? Yo, Ola's a trip. Ola is a trip. Mercy, God. The next day, she claims she was not bothered by the statement. She's like, no, it's fine. I just want you to know that I will never bring in a third. And he's like, no. I could. That's cool. I get it. I'm like, Katina, I'm gonna need you to really speak up. You can say that it bothered you, because I feel like it did. You can say that and still... like, things don't have to turn into a fight. You know, you could be like, okay, I didn't like that you said that, mainly because of the environment or whatever. But she said she was cool with it. So I'm so sorry that I keep touching my lip. I feel like there's something on it. And every time I touch, there's nothing there. I'm sorry. I will stop. So he's like, oh, yeah, I'm all in. I even deleted my Instagram to show you my lust for you. What a romantic. What a romantic. Oh, he deleted his Instagram. Wow, that's great. Do you have a Finsta? Because let me tell you right now, I'm not deleting my Instagram for nobody. Absolutely nobody. It was a cute gesture if he really did do it. It was a cute gesture, but no sir, no ma'am. He is continuing with his romantic gestures, and he plans this like cute little thing in the room with the flower petals and the libations, and he's giving her a foot massage. I keep saying libations, but by the way, libations is alcohol. And she gets really emotional, and she's like, I've never felt this cared for. I've never felt loved like this. And she's really falling deep for him, and she hopes that other women can experience this. Don't put that on us. We didn't ask for that. You can have that. You can keep that to yourself. All right, last but not least, I don't know if you guys can see, but my forehead is glistening. Noi and Steve are the last couple. And Noi is still waiting to jump Steve's bones, but Steve is taking the slow approach. He's just, embracing the experiment, enjoying the honeymoon, and he doesn't want to be too hasty. He wants to take his time. Noi is like, I'm falling in love with you. Noi, baby girl, slow down.
And one of the questions was, do you feel like you're falling in love with Steve? And I said that I feel like it's slowly happening.
Okay. Well, that's nice to hear.
Now, Steve. He could have said, I can definitely see us falling in love in the future. But to say, wow, I appreciate that. It never really sounds good when someone says that, when someone is like, oh yeah, I'm falling in love with you. But realistically, I would be shook if after 3 days, someone is like, yeah, I'm falling in love with you. How? How are you falling in love with me? This might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to share it anyways because it's my channel. I can say what I want to say. I feel like you have to see me, okay, not have to, but it would be ideal for someone to express love for me after they've seen me frustrated, after they've seen me angry, after they've seen me in a conflict resolution situation, after they've seen me experience loss. Not to say love before those things isn't possible. That's not what I'm saying. But I would love to hear somebody say they love me after seeing all of me. You know? So I'm like, girl, 3 days was a little premature. Okay, it was a little bit premature. She, oh, I have it written down. Steve is finding it hard to come to terms with the fact that she's falling hard and fast. Whatever, we get it. On the boat, Noi learns that Steve had cheated in the past, but she had also cheated in the past. And the good thing is that they are both fairly young. They've learned from it, and they don't plan on repeating, which is great. Later on, they are at the pool. And Steve is getting very hot and bothered by his wife. We love to see it. And this is where he says, I could see myself falling in love with you in the future. Which I'm like, oh, thank you, Steve. Thank you. Because I need you to still remain my favorite husband. There's not many husbands to root for this season. I need you to keep your title. All right? This was a long one. Oh my gosh, 30 minutes. I'm probably going to cut a lot of stuff out. Who knows? But yeah, next episode seems like it's going to be even more drama, even more chaos, and even more Alyssa. So as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you watch the other Married at First Sight Australia, I have been doing reviews on this channel. So make sure to check those out, and I'll see you in the next one.